Super Soul Sisters, and we're yet again here for an amazing episode. My name is Rowena Kajumba, and we're going to have a lovely story for you, I tell you. And with me is Ritah Asiimwe, who's going to tell us a whole lot more. She's a sports lady, athlete, of course, and a qualified Paralympics. And of course, she's been in one of these, a couple of them, still has many in November. And she's going to tell us really her life story to inspire us.
Well, there is one thing in my head. I never say I don't know. I don't remember ever saying I don't know. I'll keep quiet, go back and do another venture on my own. Like do another venture to make sure I do the right thing.
Yes. She's going to tell us really her life story to inspire us.
I think in the meantime, they were faster than me. The rest, I woke up and I wanted to move away. I don't know how much time I spent on the ground. I wanted to move and go. That's when I realized my hand was loose. It actually cut this thumb. I have it's kind of damaged all around.
I see that.
And actually when I'm holding a racket, very few people know, but it doesn't grip so well, and this finger doesn't grip so well, but you can't know unless you're so close and know what exactly. The transition has never been easy for anything in life. But because I already had a target in my mind, and because I wanted no one to ever undermine me for anything or overlooked for anything or seen as some useless person.
Still here with Ritah Asiimwe, and I must say, emotions in one bag. And to see that she's quite a determined person, really. She said, you know what, I'm not going to be moved down or pulled down by anything. I need to keep myself moving. And of course, we were talking about the fact that you said, now, I have left the worried, I'm now doing pancakes for a couple of years. The connection has happened. What happens after this when you say, now, let me move away from making pancakes?
How I moved away from making pancakes, I joined, because I used to be a Rotary. So one evening we had a talk with Malaika Nyazi. So she talks about her life and all that. I get moved. She has also an interesting story.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay. I realize she has connections and all that because she works with so many people. So I'm like, after, I don't know, something rang in me. I was like, well, how about you talk to Malaika, see if she can help you connect somewhere to find a job. That's how I always get my jobs, by the truth is I've never applied for a job or went for an interview, no.
You always connect with people.
Yeah,
your
like I'll come to you,
skills
and I'm like, I'm looking for something to do. Do you know anyone or somewhere?
And then...
And they will, So Malaika is like, I have a friend. I'll talk to her. She's starting up a project. I will talk to her and see if she has already gotten somewhere. If she hasn't, I think you could be the right candidate for that project. I'm like, okay, thank God. Please God, just let me be. Kumbe, it was already got this plan, I think. So you guys are doing your revamp and all that. There's a lot of stress. And I'm like, okay, if these guys stop me, okay, there was also getting, I think, kind of revamp and then security tightening and all that.
Yes.
I'm like, so what next? So that one day from there, that day I was upset with one of your guys, the security guys.
I remember that day.
Yeah. So I get so upset. I'm like, no, God, you know what? I think you're delaying my journey. Take me where I'm supposed to be. I mean, I don't want to fight with anyone. I want everyone to live amicably and in a good life. I mean, I don't want to leave this place and then someone meets you on the way and they're cursing. Or I'm cursing. No. So that day, I feel so bad that day. Everyone kept asking me, Ritah, what's wrong? And I'm like, guys, I don't even know. So I go back in the evening. The next day, I am home relaxing because that day I was like, no, you need to sit home. Find out what next. That day didn't work. In the morning at around 10, I'm home relaxing. And I'm like, the lady gives me a call. Like, Ritah, are you ready to shift to Entebbe? I'm like, why not? Today? I was very ready. I was very ready to move. So she's like, okay, I'll give you a call. When I'm ready, I'll call you. But you could come in, check around and, So I take a taxi up to Entebbe Junior. The lady is a daughter to Captain Omamtekela. She's called Michelle Omamtekela. You could have heard her. About her, she's a writer actually. She writes books. So she invites me, I go, we talk, we jazz. She tells me, okay, when I'm ready, I'm gonna call you. Give me like a week or two. I'm like, cool, as long as it's sorted. So I pass by my uncle, I take him through, because of course I didn't have where to stay in Entebbe, and I needed money to do the renting, which I was like, no. So I talked to uncle, and uncle's like, it's okay, you can stay around with me, and then later, you can move. I'm like, cool. So I joined Malengo Foundation. That's how. In September 2018. My first time in Malengo, when I joined, apart from Waridi, because when I was in Waridi, they gave me a vacation for being hardworking and all that. They gave me a vacation to Daras with Air Uganda. I went, spent time there with 3 of us. In October, Michelle gets me a deal of going to join the modeling agents with, they were celebrating, oh God, I can't remember so well, but the thing is RIS, R-I-S, something like that, in Ethiopia. So I got to Ethiopia for around 8 days. We do the modeling and all that. That was the very first time I ever modeled on on a big platform. And I'm like, and I don't know, there's this gas Mitch kept, I call her Mitch. There's this gas she kept having. You know, when you feel like you can't do anything, you don't see anything in you, and then
someone shows you, hey, you have a lot.
You get it, eh? And I'm like, okay. I was this humble person, but you know, because me, I am this person, I don't want to be too optimistic and then later get let down. No, I don't like that. So when you're giving me this hyper, I'm like, okay, yeah, in my heart, I'm like, Ritah, stay cool. Because you do not want to get disappointed. Yes. I hate being disappointed. So I would be like, yeah, in me, I'm like, Ritah, cool down. Because whatever if it never happens, because someone can have a plan. Some people are outspoken, like they think aloud. Eventually they will think with you, kumbe she's also thinking aloud. All of a sudden she tells you, but he tells you, no, I didn't mean it. No, I don't like that. So in me I'm like, Ritah, cool down. Oh my God. So comes October, and I go to Ethiopia. I think I should say represent Uganda, because they were in countries. There were so many countries there. So I represent Uganda for the very first time on a modeling stage, and I'm like, You know, I used to do modeling in secondary, you know, you design yourself with...
I've seen some of those.
Yeah, because I used to admire Eva Mbabazi. I don't know where the hell she is right now. I really liked her style. I don't know where she disappeared to. I looked up to her and I was like, I want to be a model like Eva Mbabazi. That was the day. I don't even know which year was. If you ask me, I wouldn't tell. But at least I remember Eva Mbabazi was a model in this country. Besides the rest of the things of wanting to be an air hostess, wanting to be a sports person.
You also wanted to be a model.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good thing. That is how curious my life is. Like I have a lot in my...
Sometimes it's good to try.
I have a lot in my head, but I think I never get to accomplish almost everything. Like I do bit.
Okay, that's interesting. So while
we go
you're
to
there,
Ethiopia, we do the modeling, and everyone was so happy with me. You know, like the stuff, there are so many people, you get it. Yes. I think I will say that is favor from God. You know, being somewhere and everyone looks at you as in you're an angel from heaven, everyone is taking care of you. There were these experienced models that have been around, and they were like, yeah, you can do it, you know. I'm like, okay, I think I can.
Yeah.
So I get on stage, they do the makeup and I don't like the makeup, and I'm like,
yeah, you did mention you do not like makeup.
So the lady does a lot of makeup on me. I go to the mirror and I can't find Ritah, and I'm like, no. This is not me. I just had to get a wiper, wiped off everything. The only thing I left was a little red lipstick.
She didn't have a problem with that?
No, I told her, you know what? I don't feel comfortable. So I had to remove that thing they put. Is it foundation and then another layer and then another layer?
You have
I felt like my face was hidden in there, and I'm like, this is not me. I feel comfortable me not having that heavy thing on me. Yeah, it's a problem with my sister. They always tell me, Rita, no. At least you do something.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. And I'm like, okay. So we do the modeling, we finish, I come back, I got my certificate, and come back. But I don't know where the modeling is taking me, but at least I've been to the platform where I've at least at one time admired to be. You get that?
Exactly. You've done something that was on your list.
Yeah, that is a done that is a done item. So I'm like, okay, thank you, God. Now I get this. Now the Eva Mbaba's life, because I don't expect myself to be modeling anywhere else. I mean, who's gonna call Rita for modeling? So in the meantime, Mitch still has the project coming ahead, the hot pink. I didn't know what she had in stock for me. So I still model with the hot pink guys, and I'm the lead. Oh my God! And everyone's like, Rita, yeah. With that hot pink thing, they dressed me. It was a basi, Kaijuka. He dressed me. I was in a red gown and all that with these little girls in front of me throwing flowers. So you know, you're the closure of the whole game. And everyone is excited, happy to have you around. I'm like, what? God, I think this is something, maybe, I don't know where this is heading, but I'm cool and happy. Yeah, that is another done thing, but the same line. I'm like, I think maybe that is where I'm supposed to be. You know, every time you're somewhere, you're like, I think maybe I'm meant to be. Yeah. I'm like, I think this is it. In 2019, that's when I realized badminton is also getting serious. Though I had also told Mitch, my boss, I am doing badminton. I wasn't even sure whether I'm doing badminton.
So in the meantime, while you're with
that is still 2018.
You are pushing for badminton.
Yes.
How?
Indeed. That when she gave me a job, I had to make sure I tell her. But I wasn't sure in me. But I had to make sure.
Oh, so you had gotten engagements in badminton before you see her? Okay.
Yeah. I had realized I could join and play, but I wasn't sure whether I was going to do it professionally or they keep it on my timetable.
So, I'm sorry, how did this happen? Because now you said, no, I need to grab onto this, I need to grab on this. But now how did the badminton happen?
So by the time I joined Mitch, remember I'd already gotten a deal of badminton. And I was in touch with these badminton players, the coaches.
How did you get that deal?
The badminton, when I went there, when Amon and Helen, I think they work with UBC. Yes, they do, under sports. So they come, they find me saying my pancakes are the gate there, UBC gate, and they're like, Rita, there's something I think you would be interested in. That was Amon. And I'm like, what is that? Sports. Sports? Because I'd looked around, there's no sport I can no longer engage myself into. Not volleyball was rough, not netball, I can no longer grab the ball.
And you used to play all these sports?
Yeah, and I used to have all the sports around me, but this time my brain had closed a bit and thinking, I can't do this anymore. So he's like, no, go and check on them. He didn't tell me go and play, he told me, you could go and check, maybe you would get interested. So I grabbed my bag, I did not even wait another second. Oh, fine. Just grabbed my bag, sloped to Lugogo, got into Lugogo, I practically knew no one. But when I got in Lugogo, I find my cousin, he's called Leon Senyangi. So I meet him, he's like, Rita, what are you doing here? And I'm like, no, they told me there are games here. I don't even know what they are. They're here, Maya badminton, Pala badminton, CG1.
So you didn't even know?
No, I didn't know because, I mean, I'd never played. I know badminton has never been a part of my games. So I mean, I'd come to check what exactly the games are. Maybe there are these indoor games I could, you know, competition. And me was, okay, if you get there and they are playing and you have access, maybe you go play that tournament and finish. It wasn't in my plan, like, go stick there. No. He drops me to the coach's desk. Coach Simon Mugabe was there. Coach Simon was happy to see me as if I had registered. He's like, oh, but you're late. We cannot register you now because all the lists have been already and we have to start the next day or something. I'm like, okay. I feel left out at like a moment, but I don't show it because I never want to see anyone, show anyone I am losing it now. So I'm like, okay, I go. But then he's like, but you can stay around, come watch. see how it all goes and all that. When the first time I watched, it was super cool. But what took my mind was the kind and the type of people I met there. I was like, oh, Ritah, you're in a better position. But when I looked at people and I was like, because I'd never been in a community of people with disabilities, like in a community. You know what I mean? Like you're in a community of people with disabilities. This one is crawling, the other one can walk. We always met them on the streets and you don't even give a damn, don't care. This time, I was like,
You felt connected.
oh God, and hurting inside. But I couldn't, you know, I didn't want to
You are
show.
still in your long sleeve.
I'm still in my long sleeve. I'm still putting on my prosthetic arm because I have that cosmetic arm I have. I'm like, and they don't know I have a cosmetic arm because I'm putting on a long sleeve and pocketing.
Yes.
And I'm like, no. I first watch around and see what exactly they are doing and how they are behaving. You know, I think I'm picky as well. So I scrutinize and I'm like, how will I cope up with these guys? And two, you cannot isolate yourself. So the best thing is my character never hides. I talk to everyone. I think it took me like a minute or two
To be.
to be everywhere. And to be to know everyone almost. So I meet Elizabeth, she became my closest. She took me through the whole conversation of the game and everything was totally new and crazy. And I almost want to ask her, how do you manage? Because, you know, she walks by her knees, she has both her hands short. I'm like, no, it really drove me crazy, the whole society and the being. I was like, God. I'm like, maybe you mean me to be here with them and learn how life is. So I stopped feeling what I feel because I still feel like I am. Though the public is not seeing, but in me, I still
Deep
feel
down,
like
you are still struggling.
Still down in me, I'm still struggling and trying to be the person I want to be. So when I join these guys, we play. They take me through the games. The coaches are happy, you know, they are involving. It took me a whole week, minus removing my prosthetic arm. Like I would go on court, wanting to play with my. I think they knew my problem,
But they didn't want to say anything.
They didn't want to say anything. And yes, I think it is the players themselves who are like, "But Ritah, you see, you can't play with that thing." The truth is, I would play, it burns me, and then I feel that heat, and then the heaviness, but I wouldn't want to remove it because I don't feel comfortable removing it and being as free as I am. After another day, 2, 3, I was like, let me try. I had to fight in my head, let me try. I tried, went to play. They taught me how to hold the racket. They taught me how to hold the shuttle. That one took me another whole. I've been up to now. I still learn.
The first time I was like, she probably played badminton in school, and then I like your spirit. You know, you said they told you, like, you go and do this. You're like, yeah, sure, I can do it. And then you go.
Because I feel like everyone has a being in them that is capable of doing anything.
You don't hold back.
I never hold back because I don't know what is meant for me.
So you learn, and your newfound friends are helping you. You realize, hey, there are even people probably dealing with worse than I am.
Yeah, I realized people are in a worse condition and they're living a life and happy. So I mingle, and the rest I think is history now. The rest is totally history.
Is not something you let go of. That's why we keep talking about
it.
So meanwhile, when you're doing this, you're going to Mitch as well.
So I with the Mitch, I told her I have games to play. I wasn't sure, but I had games.
But you had games.
In my head, I had games. But I wasn't sure. I did not know of the timetable. I did not know which games I would do. But I knew there was a game called badminton, and I was joining it. And I was going to be part of it. So
that is 2018?
Yeah, that is 2018.
And did you now just train through the entire year?
Yeah, so when I transit to Entebbe, where I still stay now, there's a court where her dad used to do the training. So she talked through her dad and told her, Ritah wants to play badminton, but so the dad drove me to where that badminton court is. He registered me there as
As
a
a
daughter,
member, yeah,
as
okay,
a
as a daughter.
on his ticket.
Wow, there's some people that come into your life.
Yeah, for a purpose.
Really? Yes.
So I am there on his behalf.
Oh dear,
Like
that's
on
good.
part of his on his ticket, not as his family or what, but on his ticket. I think majority think I'm actually related because he used to go with me, get off court with
See,
me.
there's good people out there.
Yeah,
There's
there are so
definitely
many good people,
out there.
but I think it also depends on how do you
relate.
present yourself.
Okay.
If the opportunity avails, are you ready to grab the opportunity? I think that's it. And
Okay.
yeah, I'm always ready
So you
to grab
learn
it.
how to play badminton for about a year because you are a little too late to get
Yeah.
registered. After that, what
Which is
happens
actually
now? How
too
did you
young.
get yourself into the
So
Tokyo?
2018, 2019, my coaches are like, Rita, you have an opportunity to go to Dubai and that's where you'll get registered, but there's an amount of money you have to clear, and so you get on the list to go. And I'm like, cool. I did not have a coin. I did not have a coin, but I think God has always put someone.
Yeah.
So that day, there's a day I'm jogging, and then there's a white guy jogging by this. He keeps jogging around, but I never paid attention to these guys. I got my work, but there is. So in that day, I jog, and then he pulls a conversation. He asks me what I do. By then, I had learned how to jog without my hand, with one wide, because the whole 2018, I mean, it has taken me through of not having my hand on in public, so I am cool. Though not so cool, but when I'm jogging, at least I feel like no one is minding me, and I am jogging my things.
Yes.
So the guy talks to me, what do you do? Why? He says, I keep seeing you jog, but what do you do? Are you a sports person? Me, I'm like, no, I'm like, do I really play badminton?
You're still not sure?
Yeah, I'm still not sure, but I'm like, I play badminton, and I'm jogging, and I have a tournament to come, but though, there are so many problems. So we talk that day. He goes, we talked actually a lot. I think I might have told him things that were not even necessary for him to know, but I did. So the next day, he's like, okay, I'll come, I'll come and pick you. So we become friends. Like, he texts me as a daughter, and then he took, like that cut time, he gave me the $500 to register for the tournament. That was the very first tournament. I handed it over to Mr. Simon, and I'm like, but he buys me the rackets because I didn't have rackets apart from what Mr. Mamteke had given me, one of his old rackets. So this gentleman, I think he went home he stays in Sweden. He comes back with a racket for me, a tin of shuttles, and and the equipment. Wow. And I'm like, okay. I am so grateful. Right now, I don't know where he is.
But you see, there are people who come in your life.
Yeah, so after
this
that
whole time
phase,
you're jogging, you do not even know.
Trust me, after the phase of Dubai,
Never
I don't
saw
know.
this person.
Yeah, I've not seen him again. Like, but I know he's alive because I keep seeing him on Facebook and all that, because he does in tours and all that. But I think that was his time. He came, did his duty.
Yes.
He fulfilled his purpose, and it was done. So I get to go to Dubai, but before I went to Dubai, I got an injury with this hand. When I was training, I landed on it backward. Okay. So I'm like, no way, I'm traveling in the next 2 days. I can't let this stop me. My coach is like, Rita, what are you going to do? I'm like, I am going. Meanwhile, my main coach didn't know. I didn't tell anyone, apart from the person I was with on court, knew that I had an injury. So the next day, after 2 days, I got an injury on Thursday. We were traveling on Friday night. Saturday morning, I think. Friday night. So we traveled Saturday morning, very early in the morning. We go. I reached the classification center and they asked me what's wrong with the hand. I'm like, I was training around. Okay, this they should never hear. So I told them, I got an injury here.
Well, it's done. They can't change their minds now.
No, to me it wasn't done yet. To them I was almost not playing.
Not playing, yes.
So they take me to Rashid Hospital in Dubai and all that. They do the medication. They really give me good care, as a player.
To make sure you can actually.
To make sure I'm not to play, but to make sure I'm in good shape. And maybe until the time. So, because they kept persisting, you're not going to play because this hand can't play. And I'm like, guys, I didn't come all the way from Uganda, come to Dubai to go back without playing. I told them, no, I'm playing. I was like, I just stand on court, I will not have done a walkover, because if you don't play, that's a walkover and all the points are given to the other person. And probably it is as if you've not attended the tournament, which I did not want that happening. So I forced myself, but with the doctors besides the court. Oh my God, that care. If we had that care with Ugandan doctors here and I mean tournaments, I think we wouldn't be having problems. So they really make sure I am okay. Even when you get a slight hinge, they're like, are you okay? I'm like, guys, I am fine, and I'm going to. So I finished playing. The Dubai tournament gets ended. We come back here in still April. We play the Uganda International. Okay, I don't win because man, these guys are good.
But you're getting points, like.
But I'm getting points, and that was my aim. I'm like, Ritah, you need points. Then Uganda tournament comes, I play. I still didn't win, but I get my points of the tournament. And I'm like, so which other tournament is coming next? There's a World Championship. And then they told me World Championship, it's twice the max. So I'm like, I need to go for that one.
Yeah.
I remember I don't have a coin on my account. I don't have even 500,000 on my account, but I have to go for tournaments that cost over 13 million. God knowing his plans, man. The group that it's called Badminton World Federation, it had sponsored me the Dubai tournament. It sponsored me the World Championship, and then it also sponsored me the Spanish, the one that did the last qualification to Olympics. But the World Championship was terrible for us to go to because that time, remember, I'm new in this game. I'm supposed to be the cool athlete they all expect. I'm supposed to be this cool athlete who follows what the coaches say and the information they give you, and that's all. And that is not me. In me, I'm like, I am an athlete who is supposed to achieve what athletes are supposed to achieve. And how will I achieve it? If I say out what is in my mind. So the coach says, there's no money, we can't take you guys, we're about 7 of us. We don't have money to fund you guys, we don't, but in the meantime, no one knew that money was going to be paid for anyone. So I'm like, what do we do? We keep telling the coach to register us for the championship. I'm like, Coach Simon kept saying, Ritah sent a ziriwa. Send him a zirina. And I'm like, Coach, sent a jeziri. I don't know where, but I know there is money in the federation. The coach keeps saying there is no money in the federation, and I'm like, in my heart, I don't know. I'm like, there is money somewhere in either National Council of Sports or where they get the money. I don't know. But in me, I felt like we are going. How? I don't know, but we are going. Guys did not apply for us in time for the visas to Switzerland. It is 2 weeks to the game, and the gentleman tells us, you know, we applied and the embassy says you guys can't afford to get the visas because we are late. I'm like, man, we had 3 months of applying for the visas. Why apply in 2 weeks? I got pissed. That day when the office, my anger, I think anger consumed it, but I did not say, like I did not put it out. We are like, God, pave way for this. We can't miss out on any of this. I didn't have money. I'm like, Coach, we are going. We are supposed to go to Nairobi. That's where the visas are. I'm like, Coach, you know what? I'm like, guys, how much? We all don't have. But in me, I'm like, I'm going to borrow from my sister. And I come back, I will repay. I'm like, because already we knew there's an allowance when you go for the World Championship. They were supposed to give us, which we did not get. They were supposed to give us allowance. I think they had calculated $50 per player every day, and those were around 10 days, or 11 days, or 9 days, something like, for a day. Though we didn't get that money, and we still demand for that money. Every time we meet the coach, we're like, we never got our money. And he keeps saying he didn't have the money. So I get money from my sister, 1.5. Then there's a gentleman called Kasiepadi. He's one of us. He brings his 0.5. That is 2M. We get it. We give it to Coach Simon. We're like, here. We are paying for our visas and transport to Kenya and coming back. That is, everyone paid 500, meaning So he changes the money in the morning, they book us a bus, and we go to Nairobi. But I think in him, he was like, mugenda tuukayo. After all, the money is not ours. Monone sente zammwe, mumale mukomewo, nga nekibatutte, temukifunye. That's what I think he had in mind. We get a bus, we reach Nairobi, around 10 we reach. We reach, the person that was supposed to pick us to delayed a bit, the embassy closes at midday. I'm perplexed, I'm like, okay, what do we do? We still told the guy, take us to the embassy. So when we reached the embassy, the askari told us, we have closed.
Wow.
We have closed. Maybe come back tomorrow morning, but make sure before 11 you're here.
Yes.
We're like, cool. And then we're like, what do we request? We require what? You know, God is funny a bit. This gentleman, the coach, had done all the paperwork we needed. All the paperwork.
All of it, yes.
We had all the paperwork that was required. But I don't know why
good.
he did not apply in time.
He didn't see the money. Yeah?
No, that's when we say God does what he thinks his way. So we go, the paperwork reach, they tell us, now you guys, you need, because they are not just put on a sheet like we are athletes, like an official thing in the athletes, because we are not supposed to be paying this thing of SMILE. We send in our bank statements, because if the association or the federation is paying, or the national council is paying, then we don't have to give in our bank statements, employer letters. So the lady at the embassy says, guys, make sure you all have your, if you're not, after checking through our papers, it's like, I need your work letters if you're working. If you're not working, I need a letter to explain how you earn, because we are going to Europe, I mean, and that is the first time I ever apply for a visa in my life, like my life. So I'm like, but we have all these things. So why is she still asking for this? We're like, okay, cool. I call Mitch, I'm like, could you please avail me with my pay slips for the past 3 months, and then work later to show that, you know. And then the rest also communicate whoever they were supposed to communicate to. My dear, in a day we had received everything we needed.
That is good.
The next day, we went there by 11. They told us by 11, make sure you have everything and come here. By that time, we had everything from UG, and we were in Nairobi, because we wondered to ourselves, so how am I going to get a birth statement? No bank will issue a statement if you're not physically there. I tried to contacting Stanbic, and he was like, no, I think I'm wasting my time. So we chill with, I just had to write a letter why I can't access my bank statement. I attached it to Michelle's payslip. I also attached it to her letter, and then the rest also wrote if they are not working, what are they doing, how are they earning, if you're keeping your money on mobile money, your mobile number, your SIM, all that nonsense.
The details, yes.
Oh, God.
This whole time they've not yet mentioned that.
Mentioned we are out of date. But remember that whole thing, that is our second day there, because the other previous day was just we arrived and they told us. So this other day is there, we are giving in papers and all that, they are telling us. So we go to the embassy, to Kenya, Ugandan embassy in Kenya. We asked them to help us. It was beyond our control now. We are like, guys, we need your help. We first went to the embassies, I think, what is it called, consulate? Where where the commissioner stays.
Sits, yes.
And then they were like, she's on leave for a year, she got an accident. So like,
This just got a whole lot confusing for you guys, like every time.
Remember, we are in Nairobi, we don't have money, we borrowed the money that took us, and now we are using an Uber to drive us around Nairobi. And we need to pay this guy. And I'm like, no, this can't happen. We're like, okay, so what do we do? They're like, no, you got Uganda House in Nairobi, in Kenya, and then it's the working office, so they might help you there.
Yeah.
We reached, it was already 1. They are off for lunch. They are off for lunch.
I know how stressful those things can be every
Oh
time.
my God, I was stressed, but I had to be the strong one because it is me who had rebelled from here with the
Pushing the
entire
team,
team
like, let's go.
to Nairobi. So I couldn't show them I'm weak, though I was about to collapse in me. We reach and they're like, it's lunchtime. That's the askari, the security lady. There, you have to wait until 3. Remember, waiting until 3, we need feedback before the other guys
Just close.
close. What do we do? Lucky enough, we're still pleading to the security lady. There comes a lady. We didn't know she's the one going to help us, or she's the commissioner, the deputy commissioner, CG1. Because I mean, you see how that lady's dressed? Because we expect these guys to be in posh things, you know.
Like simple.
She's as simple as no makeup, no hair doing, no what. She was in her skirt and sweater. She was simple in her flats. So we reached, but I think maybe she recognized it because we had put on our jerseys. I told guys, you know, if we are going to walk around Kenya, we need to protect ourselves as well. So we made sure we put on our jerseys that at least had a Ugandan color or something. So I don't know whether she saw us on our way to entering or it was God's plan. She comes back. She had forgotten something in office. She finds us on the doors pleading to the lady and she's like, and what's wrong? What do they want? Me thinking she's the secretary, probably going to take us somewhere. In the corridors, we discuss, she takes our papers, she looks through them. You know, like she's like, okay, go back. She keeps wanting clarification. So she asks a gentleman called John Wafula. She's like, call me John Wafula. And I'm like, okay, John Wafula, maybe he's the person taking us where we are supposed to go. Because remember, we are in the corridors.
Yes.
We haven't reached anywhere. But in the offices, so Mr. John Wafula comes over. Simple guy. He's normal coat and, you know, normal shirt. And I'm like, I think he's taking his assistant to this one, maybe taking us. So he asks Mr. John to make a call to the name they mentioned, I think, to the Switzerland embassy. You know, they've been knowing themselves. So the other person had to connect with this one to connect to the boss. We didn't know she was the boss. So they connect in like 5 minutes. Everything was sorted.
Oh, that's nice.
And all we had to do was go the next morning, drop our forms, and wait for the visas. I was like, trust me, we all cried that moment. We all cried.
It was tears of
We
joy.
didn't have the visas in our hands, but just knowing that everything was sorted and we were ready to get the visas, because we had to take the forms now, so they get to print us the visas. It was a relief.
Interesting. That's interesting.
We cried. We cried. They told us, guys, I think it took us like 5 minutes crying, and then they told us, so you guys have to wait here until the visas are printed out and all that. Those are like 3 days now.
Aye.
But now the visa is getting printed. We have a weekend through. Because remember, that was a Friday already. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, they have a Eid going on I think it is a public holiday for Kenya. Then we had to go on Tuesday. We had to wait. Then they're like, so how are you guys going to manage and all that? We're like, we don't know, but Mr. John, could you please call back home and tell them we don't have where to sleep?
After you rebelled on your own.
Yeah, it had to come back home. Because that's when I realized I'm not alone.
Yes.
And we are not alone.
Yes, that's
so
true.
if God has managed to give us the visas at us not even walking to the embassy again, just a phone call, then we will get where. Now we had the guts to say, we want where to sleep. We need accommodation, we need feeding. But though that the previous, not because we didn't have where to sleep, but we were not sure if they are going to pay for all those days we are staying in Kenya, because the truth is, when
You
we
are
reached,
running out of money.
yeah,
You'd run
the
out.
very night we slept, we did not sleep at our own cost still. Because when we left this place, however, he had not applied for the visas and all that, he still cared for us.
Okay. That's good.
Because when we reached Kenya, he had connected with the Kenya Association to pick us, take us through, and then take us where to sleep. get us accommodation and all that.
Okay, so this is very interesting. You know, you've taken me through a roller coaster of emotions, you know, and it's very good to know because, you know, life has lots of ups and downs. Now, persistence is something that is very key, and this is something, of course, that Ritah, I think, is part of her personality, but of course is showing us that sometimes you need to persist, sometimes you just need to up and get and take that opportunity and see where it takes you. Now, Ritah, when you get in touch with people at home, how fast was that now to say, no, maybe now we need to send more money, we need to send...
So when, of course, that now we left in the hands of the embassy and back in Uganda.
Oh, okay.
We got out of it. As like the embassy cannot let you suffer in the country because they had already accepted we are from Uganda, they are part of us, they are supposed to take care of us. So Mr. John Wafula took the care of the rest of the communications and everything. Our thing was to sit and wait for the visas. Though it wasn't okay with Mr. Simon because he wanted actually us to come back because I remember he had already prepared the tickets for us to board the bus again. And then I told him, no, you're not coming.
Until we get...
Because there's no way I can make a mistake of, I paid my money to come because you didn't want. And then I make a mistake of coming and then come back and pick the visas. That is so crazy. So I told him, you know what? The thing is, I think we are going to wait here. I was like, you know what, Mr. John? I think the best solution is you. They will listen to you more than they listen to us. So do the explanation. So he told them, no, these guys are not coming back. They have to wait for the visas, so plan for them and pay for their accommodation, feeding and all that for the next 4 days until they come.
Quite an adventure, quite an adventure. So now you get your visas and then you go
come
for
Tuesday, we get our visas, Tuesday morning. I think that day we couldn't take the buses, so we had to take them the next day very early in the morning, which was a Wednesday. Remember, in that time, we are supposed to take a flight on Friday to Switzerland for the games. In the meantime, I was communicating with the guys the other side, and then they were like, Ritah, we are going to cancel. Though my coach has never known like I ever communicated because I never want. There are some things I want to keep for myself, and then I be the stupid one, and then you have your color bright as well. so I be the stupid one. Then we come in. I tell them we are getting the visas. Meanwhile, they had confirmed them there are no visas. I told them we are getting the visas, don't cancel or else are out. Because there is a coach from here called Mr. Herbert. He was the president then. Mr. Herbert Otto. He was the one in Switzerland. He was going to work as the technical personnel. But then later the organizers were like, the embassy was like, if these guys can't go there alone. So he had to switch roles to be our manager now, the team manager. Though he was already there. So he had to switch role to be our team manager, and then everything turned out. We came back on Wednesday. We reached here, I think Thursday afternoon. We reached the National Council. There's no flagging off. To me, it isn't okay as long as I'm going, whether you flag me off or not. It's not planned before. I am still going because I already have what is taking me. But in all this doing, we are not even sure whether the tickets are paid for. Okay, we have the visas, but we don't know whether the tickets have been paid for. But we were like, they must have been paid for because they were a requirement at the embassy for us to hand in all those documents. So whether for us, we had gotten what was the most important that they had failed to get, and we knew we were supposed to go. So we come back here, National Council. We reach, I got to Mr. Ogwell's office. He had actually, I think, never seen me and I had never seen him face to face. The first question he asked me was, where do you base? And I'm like, I'm a Ugandan. And I stay in Entebbe. I think they had told them Ritah has become a problem. So when I mentioned mine, I was like, where do you base? I'm like, I stay in Uganda. And I live in Entebbe. I was like, okay. That was the question and full stop. Then I was like, okay, I'm here to inquire about the uniforms, whether, because me, I thought it was the National Council in charge of uniforms, because then there was a group going to for Commonwealth. So I also thought our uniforms had been planned for. he told me, no, your coach did not submit in your letter for costumes and all that, so we don't have uniforms for you, and the jerseys around are all already labeled with people's names and all that. I felt bad. After all that, and then because we have to have uniforms as we go there, because I mean it's a big team and representing the country in the Europe, and we don't have costumes. We're like, cool. I told guys, you know what? We have what we need, is us and the mindset. So we go play. We just go on court and play as long as we get our points. Guys were like, Ritah Asiimwe. I'm like, but they didn't plan for us, so what do we do? That is a minor case anyway. The biggest is been sorted. So let's just go beba mani. Me, I was like, you know what, Mr. Simon? We can do without the flag.
The flagging off, yeah.
It's not so big. That was none of our... Me, I was already tired and exhausted. All I wanted to hear is, Ritah, the ticket is here. Guys, go. So we couldn't fly the next day, though we were supposed to fly on Friday. We couldn't. We canceled out the tickets for then. They had to rebook first tickets. So we took off on Saturday, and the games were on Monday. Oh. So when we reached, she said, oh my God, I was already dead. I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't feel, my entire body was, I think, shutting down. I think because of the stress, the journey, the bus to and fro, then up and down, you're not sleeping, your brain is overworked.
You're literally trying to achieve something.
Yes, I was totally. So that day, when we reached the day, and then my schedule was shifted. We reached the day because it was, I think, like a transit. A day when we were supposed to play, they shifted my games to afternoon. I think we reached Sunday morning, and then I was supposed to play morning, Monday, and then they shifted my games to afternoon so I could have had that rest. So when I told my coach Herbert, I told him, you know what, I think I'm about to collapse. I don't feel my legs, I don't feel my body active as it should be. He was like, you know what, go for a massage. So that morning, I woke up, went for the massage, full body massage. I slept up to midday, woke up at, I think, woke up, refreshed, went for a little touch, and then went on court. We didn't win, but you know, we had gotten our points. Guys had fun. We enjoyed the stay. We enjoyed the
After
tour.
The hustle, you felt like
because because we toured all over Switzerland. We had free touring coupon. You would travel in any tram you want, as long as you have your buy. It's called a buy. What is it called? That lamented card they give you.
Or like some sort of identification.
Identification that you're from this and all. As long as you had that, you would go anywhere in Switzerland. So, guys toured and all that time. We had fun, we had a blast. And then we came back after the games. We came back to Uganda.
All of this time you're saying, as long as I get myself points. So you have more games coming up. Tell us more about that.
So after Switzerland, we have, of course, those are qualifier games. We are in qualifier, and you need at least 3 international qualifying games to go through or more. So there's Spain coming ahead. Spain was supposed to go in 2020, March, 7th March, COVID knocks in. You know, you get your tickets today, even at around 3, 2, and then at 5:30 they call and they're like, the borders are closed, you guys are not going anywhere because of COVID. So we sit home.
That's sad.
That is the whole of 2020 dead. I asked Coach Simon, I'm like, Coach, how can I get training? Who do I get to train me or something? That is all on me. Coach is okay. So I go to Naguru. There's a lady there's a lady friend in Naguru. She houses me for that whole month of Feb, because I was training at KBC, near Kampala Parents. So I would just slope from her home to the training ground. She houses me, she feeds me, everything. She treats me like a daughter. But how I get to know that lady, she's a Rotarian and I'm a Rotaractor, and we used to mingle, you know. So we became friends. just like that. So her time comes, she fulfills her purpose.
Exactly. There's always
She
people that come into your life.
she fulfills her purpose. So I stay there, I train. Meanwhile, Rotary Club of Bugolobi fundraised for me the money that I was using all that time for training, for jazzis, for all. Like that gas, I knew I had
like,
backup of people who are giving me money from here, there. So I knew I would pay for this, I knew I would pay for Mijozi, I would do, like something I needed. So Rotary Club helped me push, because the money that I was using all that time, upkeep, paying rent, sujui what, was from Rotary.
That's very interesting. So when you go there, the experiences when you're out there, you're playing your game. Of course, now you're adjusting with your arm because you've removed the. How are you taken, you and your team? How do the people out there take you?
The society, I think first of all it begins with us. And when I reached into these guys, I realized they had stigma themselves. They feel like the society does not appreciate their nature. I realized if I look at what society thinks of me,
You will not.
I will not be going anywhere, trust me. I would not leave my house or live anywhere and push. Because I mean, I would not have the courage to say, walk to someone or to any office and say, can I have something to do? Because the first thing would be, will they give you in your condition? Here we went to Spain, which was the qualifying. We had it in May this year, and we had to wait for the results to come back, which were in July. We waited, and only to find out, were 5 of us, and unfortunately they didn't qualify. It was only me who qualified for the Olympics. That was in July. Okay, I was super excited, super overwhelmed. And I thanked God for answering all my struggles, not letting down all my rebellism. Because I mean, it would really look bad after dragging the government officials and all that, going everywhere, and then all of a sudden you cannot achieve what you're fighting for. For me, qualifying was already a medal for me, because when I looked at the lineup, it was terrible. They were seed 1. You know, we have those world number 1, world number 2, world number 3. The other ones qualifying, and Ritah here, you have no rank. Okay, however, I am qualified 1 in Uganda, qualified 2 in Africa, then 19 worldwide. That was the season for Tokyo, Race to Tokyo 2020. So it ends there, and we got for the Olympics. I am so super excited. I represented my country. That was the most expensive thing I ever wanted to have, because every time I looked at Serena, I would be like,
this is
one day I should be on that wide stage. And God got me there. How? I don't know, but I went there. On the biggest stage of the world, the peak of. So basically, if it was school, I did my graduation in the university, I did my graduation in the sports. So the rest are going to be additional. Though right now I'm preparing for 2024, God willing. I don't know whether I'll be alive or not, but as long as I'm still alive, I'm still as energetic as before, and I'm still going to push for as much as I can, because I want to see my fraternity improve. I want to see, because now they're my people. I want to see my people improve, their lives improve, be happy, stop thinking of they are being neglected by the society, they don't fit in the society. You know, right now with the Paralympics, being the proud Paralympian I am right now.
Nice. Yes.
I would wish to see more numbers of para athletes on board. Uganda having so many going to represent the country, it feels so nice, you know. I
want to ask, your relationship now currently with your mom, now that you're even a Paralympics qualifier.
My relationship with my mom, I think I should say it has greatly improved. You know, me and my mom, we always have those clashing moments. Actually, my sisters are like, Ritah, when you're with mommy, we're always expecting an explosion. An explosion.
You all want the same thing, but you're looking at it from different angles.
I think so. I don't know. We never get to conquer at that point. Like, we're always clashing and
those are the strongest bonds, I tell you.
I don't know, but we never, like, they always be like, Ritah, can't you just give her what she wants? And I'm like, what does she want? I personally don't know what she wants, but I just don't find her.
But I know what I want.
Yes, and I just don't find her accepting what I want. And me, I want something that is not fitting in her.
The
want.
relationship is better.
But right now, I think we are cool. I think I should say we are cool because by the mere fact that she can now pick a phone, discuss something with you. I mean, I think, yeah, somehow.
It's getting there. But what is that something? If someone is watching you out there, you'd say, hey, this is what I live by. Find something also along your lines that you can say this is it.
Fear not to fail, but also don't dwell on failure.
Do you have any kind of presentation for the people with disabilities
For now,
in the sports fraternity?
I am a PR for para badminton in Uganda, and then I also did administrative course with BWF, which is Badminton World Federation. So I still consider myself as an administrator in para badminton, though in Uganda it is not recognized anywhere. But
who knows with time.
I don't know. Uganda still needs a lot of publicity about the game itself, not only badminton. There's so very many games that can be participated in by people with disability. The elderly. By the way, badminton has no age limit. Actually, I was talking to some friends. I'm like, I think I should start doing, go to different vulnerable homes, go to, schools,
train,
talk to students in lower classes, higher classes, higher institutions, because I think we just don't have this information. I am trying my best, though I don't know, but I'm trying my best to see if we can have a facility for para players. We don't have facilities in Uganda. We don't have facilities that will manage these people. I think that's why the games are low.
Thank you so much, Ritah, for making time.
No, you guys, thank you.
And being here, very beautiful story. I'm telling you, it's been an emotional roller coaster for me. I'm pretty sure even you out there. But of course, it's good to note, this is going to sound cliche. They say disability is not what? An ability. Now, these things are things we talk about every day, that we have examples. We have people who are actually going away from the norm and saying we are going to break away from these ties that, people think you cannot do this because of that, you cannot do this because of that. But thank you, Ritah, for giving us this story and sharing. Of course, she does speak her mind. But take a decision always. Go out for something. Try and fail, but do not fail to try it. Super Soul Sisters, my name is Rowena Kajumba. Just a reminder, Daughters exclusive here on Ginger Road, Spear House. Do check it out when you can. Thank you so much. Thank you for making time. Till next time, bye.